Alaykum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Something is shifting, not in the skies, not in the earth, but deep within the souls of those whom Allah has chosen to awaken in this season. July 24 is not just another day on the calendar. It's a divine checkpoint, a turning point that's been written long before you were even born. And if you're watching this right now, I need you to pay very close attention. Because what I'm about to say is not entertainment. It's not a trend. It's a prophetic signal meant only for hearts that can feel before they understand. You see, sometimes Allah doesn't whisper. He shakes. And not to destroy you, but to wake you up from what you thought was comfort, but was actually spiritual sleep. July 24th is one of those moments. The kind of moment where the veil between the seen and the unseen becomes paper thin, where what was delayed begins to move, and what was hidden begins to rise. Not because you're lucky, not because you did everything right, but because Allah wrote mercy for you in a time where others are sinking into heedlessness. Let me ask you, have you been feeling like something big is about to happen, but you can't explain it? You wake up with a heavy heart, like you're on the edge of something. You've been praying, waiting, resisting temptations, holding back your tears while walking through tests no one sees. And still, you keep going. Not because you know the outcome, but because you trust the one who holds it. That's why you're still standing, still breathing, still here. Because you've been chosen to witness a shift that won't come with noise but with clarity. A shift that will silence the lies you've believed about yourself. The shift where Allah says, enough. It's time. You're not crazy for holding on when everyone else let go. You're not weak for crying to Allah when the world told you to move on. You've been preparing not for a miracle, but for alignment. Because here's the truth. What Allah has written for your next season doesn't require applause. It requires submission. And maybe that's why July 24th matters. Not because of the date, but because of the decision you make on that date. Will you step into the unknown with trust? Will you finally drop what's been draining you just because it's familiar? Or will you answer the whisper in your soul that says, you were made for more than survival? Don't scroll away from this. Don't silence what your heart is screaming just because your mind is scared. Let yourself believe for a moment that maybe Allah's timing wasn't late. Maybe it was perfect. Maybe everything you've lost was never meant to stay. And everything that's coming was waiting on your obedience, not your perfection. July 24th isn't about predictions. It's about positioning. It's about standing in a space where heaven is watching closely, where the angels are being assigned, where your name is being discussed in rooms you can't see yet. So don't be casual with what's sacred. Allah's message to you didn't come through dreams or signs this time. It came as a reminder wrapped in words, spoken now, so you don't say, I wish I had known later. There are moments in life when the soul senses a disturbance before the eyes even see it. July 24th is not just another date, it's a divine checkpoint. A whisper from the unseen realm. Something is shifting. And no, this isn't just poetic talk, it's spiritual reality. Sometimes, Allah prepares the earth before He reveals His command. The ground under your feet may still feel the same, but in the heavens, the scroll of destiny has already started to turn. Angels are being deployed. Directions are being issued. And some of those orders are directly about you. What if I told you that your name has been spoken in a realm where time doesn't exist? That your pain, your patience, and your perseverance have been noted? July 24th isn't about chance. It's about change. Allah is sending a prophetic shift. Not because you asked for it, but because it was already written. You see,
Before you were formed in the womb, your journey had a rhythm. And this rhythm includes seasons of silence, storms of growth, and sudden breakthroughs that don't ask for permission. Let's get this straight. The shift that's coming is not going to fit into your comfort zone. It will stretch you, rearrange your circle, and disrupt your plans. But in that chaos is clarity. Allah doesn't just send ease after hardship. He uses hardship to carve out the path to ease. And that's exactly what this moment is about. The shift is coming through the friction, through the discomfort, through the unexpected. Because comfort never created a leader. Silence never made a warrior. July 24th is not for the casual believer. It's for the ones who stayed awake when the world was sleeping. There's a divine precision to this date. Maybe to the world, it will seem ordinary. A Tuesday. Just another calendar day. But to those who are spiritually aligned, who've been feeling something stir in their chest, it will feel like the air is thicker. The atmosphere will hum with revelation. Don't brush it off. Be alert. Because in this shift, Allah is realigning things that have been off for too long. Misplaced relationships, wasted time, misused energy. He's setting things back in their rightful order. And sometimes that means removing what you thought you needed. Here's something most won't tell you. When Allah begins to shift your life, He'll start by shifting you. Your thoughts, your focus, your appetite for dunya. It all starts to change. You'll feel a sudden disinterest in shallow things. You'll crave silence. You'll begin to detach from places where your name is known but your soul isn't safe. That's not depression. That's transformation. It's heaven calling you to recalibrate. You're being prepared for the upgrade. And don't expect everyone around you to notice it. Spiritual shifts are silent. They don't always come with announcements. Allah works in stillness before He shows you the storm of His mercy. But here's a clue. If you've been experiencing divine discomfort lately, that's the prelude. The resistance you're feeling isn't rejection, it's redirection. The blockages are blessings in disguise, forcing you to go inward, to reflect, to return. It's no longer about running after what was, but walking steadily into what's next. Now ask yourself, what if the delay wasn't a denial, but divine development? What if all those closed doors were actually locked for you, not against you? Because Allah knew that July 24th would arrive with something greater. And had He opened those old paths, you might have missed this one. That's the wisdom we rarely understand in the moment. We complain about detours, not realizing that sometimes Allah detours us to deliver us. So when this date arrives, don't just wait for something external to change. Prepare for the internal shift. Cleanse your heart. Forgive who needs to be forgiven. Delete distractions. Align your tongue with dhikr and your thoughts with yaqeen, certainty. The signs you're waiting for might not come in lightning or loud voices. They might come in peace, in sudden resolve, in an inner push to finally obey the calling you've been ignoring. Because when Allah decides to shift a soul, He doesn't ask your surroundings for approval. He simply breathes life into your purpose, and nothing remains the same. July 24th is a spiritual alert, not just a date. Be ready. You're not waking up in the middle of the night for no reason. You're not feeling anxious in your heart for no reason. And you're definitely not seeing repetitive moments, dreams and messages for no reason. Something is being aligned. And the moment you stop treating it like a coincidence is the moment things will start accelerating for you. Some of you have been delayed, not denied, because what's coming has a higher requirement than where you've been. July 24th isn't just a date. It's a divine signal for people who are tuned into more than just the noise of this world.
You can almost feel it in the air. Something is shifting, a realignment, a recalibration, like heaven is leaning closer, whispering things only the spiritually awake can hear. You're not just tired because you're overworked. You're tired because your soul is preparing for something weighty. You've outgrown your current chapter. That's why it feels uncomfortable. That's why you can't seem to settle. Allah is rearranging things behind the veil. He's moving people out of your way. He's silencing distractions, clearing the noise, and calling your attention back to Him. This is not the season to be casual with your faith. Not when your name has been mentioned in the divine command. Not when your tests have been heavenly filters to refine your position in this new prophetic shift. If you only knew how close you are to the unraveling of what Allah promised, you'd be prostrating in gratitude before you even saw it. Some of you have been wondering why doors were shut that seemed good, why relationships dissolved that once felt like blessings, and why life became quiet when you were just starting to get momentum. It's because Allah didn't want you to be anchored to anything He was about to remove. He didn't want your heart entangled in what He never authored. July 24th is not about a specific event. It's about the culmination of movements that have been unfolding silently. The kind of moments that don't trend online but shift lives forever. You've been chosen for something unusual, something rare, and sometimes the silence of Allah is louder than words, because it pushes you to listen deeply, not with your ears, but with your soul. He's been guiding you through inner tensions, not to break you, but to prepare you for a spiritual promotion. You won't be able to explain it logically. That's how you'll know it was divine. Because what Allah does for His chosen ones doesn't fit into formulas. So don't get distracted right now. Don't numb the discomfort. Don't ignore the patterns. Wake up, watch, and trust. Because something sacred is approaching, and only the ones who are spiritually alert will catch it before it arrives. July 24th isn't just about what will happen. It's about who you will become when it does. Sometimes, Allah's greatest moves come wrapped in silence. He doesn't need noise to make a change. The day shifts. The sky shifts. The decree is signed, and the believer only feels it when their heart begins to burn with purpose they never asked for. That's what this shift means. It's not about July 24 as a date on your calendar. It's about the signal your soul received while you were in sujood, or maybe while you were too broken to even pray. You thought that pain was just a test? Sometimes pain is a prophetic announcement. Allah lets some hearts bleed so others can live. And maybe, just maybe, your brokenness was the message itself. Have you noticed how, lately, your distractions are being stripped away? The people who used to entertain you now bore you. The things that once satisfied you now make you feel empty. This is not depression. This is divine transition. Allah pulls your heart out of the world before He places it into something eternal. The prophetic shift coming isn't just about what He'll give you. It's about what He's removing from you. False comfort, fake success, people who never really knew your soul. You're not losing anything. You're being aligned. And here's something you may not want to hear. The shift might come through a door you didn't want to open, a test you prayed to avoid, a delay you cursed under your breath. Because Allah's plans aren't designed for your comfort, but for your calling. Prophets weren't chosen because life was easy. They were chosen because they could carry what would destroy others. So if you've been waking up in spiritual weight, if you've been sensing a divine heaviness, don't run from it. The prophetic shift begins with burdens before it gives birth to blessings. What's really changing isn't the world. It's your perception of it. You used to see July 24th as just a number. Now, you feel it. like the way the earth feels rain before the clouds break. You feel the pressure, the stir, the signs. And deep down, you know Allah is up to something. Don't let your logic override your intuition. When Allah places a sign in your spirit, don't ask for confirmation through people who don't pray. Sit with the Quran instead. Let Allah speak without interruption. So prepare your heart. The prophetic shift coming is not like anything you've lived before. It won't be loud, but it will be lasting. It won't come to flatter you, but to form you. And if you surrender, if you embrace the uncomfortable moment, then you won't just witness the shift, you'll become the shift. You'll be the living proof that Allah still speaks, still moves, still uplifts. And maybe this July, someone else will find Allah by watching what He does in you. But how can a believer prepare their soul when the earth is trembling with distractions and the days run faster than our hearts can catch up? Shaitan 24th is not just a moment in the calendar. It's a divine checkpoint for those whose hearts still beat with longing for Allah. It's not about superstition, but about sincerity. It's not about predictions, but preparation. Those who think the days pass without meaning are asleep while the heavens are in motion. And those who are spiritually awake, you the chosen, you sense something. You feel the vibration of change before it arrives. Allah is sending signs not just in global events, but in your own life, in your delays, your disappointments, and the deep sighs no one hears but Him. Let me be very clear. Allah doesn't send dates to scare His servants. He sends them to remind them. The Quran doesn't say if the hour is coming. It says it is near. But even before the great hour arrives, there are personal hours, private shifts, and soul-level awakenings that Allah uses to prepare His beloved ones. Could July 24th be one of those divine appointments for you? Only Allah knows. But ask yourself, have you been feeling like the ground is being rearranged under your feet? That your plans are being stopped, paused, or redirected? It may feel like delay, but to Allah it's design. Some of you were supposed to be broken before that day came, so that your healing would become more pure. Others among you were meant to walk through loneliness, because your nearness to Allah had to be rebuilt in silence. Still others were allowed to lose opportunities, because what's coming next needs your full capacity, not divided loyalty. The heart cannot hold the dunya and divine elevation at the same time. So Allah is emptying you before He fills you. You see, prophetic shifts are not always grand or loud. Sometimes they're quiet. A night of sincere tears. A prayer you never told anyone about. A random act of charity that the angels wrote in gold ink. Sometimes your biggest shift was the moment you said, I trust you, Ya Rab, even when your heart was full of fear. Allah heard it. The earth didn't move, but your rank in the unseen world was elevated. Let July 24th not just be a date, but a destination. Begin speaking to Allah differently. Don't just complain, converse. Don't just request, reflect. Let your du'as be laced with submission, not just demands. Because the shift that's coming is not only around you, but within you. The world will continue spinning, but your soul is what Allah is preparing to ascend. And now, it's no longer about what people said, what you feared, or what held you back. This moment is now between you and Allah. Because the true shift, the one that truly matters, happens inside first. If you followed this journey so far, it's not by chance. You've been spiritually summoned to this precise point. Every verse you've heard, every word you've listened to was preparing your soul for a divine appointment. And now, Allah is preparing to elevate your heart into a season of insight and nearness that many never taste in this life. When Allah selects someone for a shift, the first sign isn't the blessing, it's the breaking, the dismantling of your comfort, the removal of your routine, and the detachment from the familiar. Why? Because what is coming to you isn't small. You were never meant to operate on the same frequency as everyone else. You weren't meant to run after what the world glorifies. The shift that's approaching isn't just external. It's a reshaping of your inner priorities. It's a sacred uprooting. Allah removing what you thought was essential, so He can plant what is truly eternal. Your heart may feel fragile in this hour, but what you call fragile, Allah calls fertile, soft soil, ready to grow something beyond your understanding. Don't mistake the delay for denial, and don't interpret your isolation as punishment. Allah isolates before He elevates. He quiets the noise so you can finally hear the instructions. And He withholds the crowd so you don't forget His voice. July 24th may mark a visible shift for some, but for you, chosen one, it will be invisible at first. A recalibration of your faith, a pull toward your purpose, a sudden hunger for the Quran that wasn't there before, a desire to wake up for tahajjud even when your body says no, a tear that rolls down during sujood even though you didn't know why. That's how prophetic shifts work. They don't announce themselves with a lightning in the sky. They announce themselves with peace in the storm, with courage in confusion, with hope when logic says give up. This is where your soul begins to awaken to what it was created for. And yes, your journey will look different from others. Some will not understand your shift. Some will mock your change. Some will miss the old version of you. But the old version of you was never meant to carry the future that Allah is about to place in your hands. You're not losing them. You're realigning with Him. And now, I fulfill my promise to you. Let's make this moment sacred. Ya Allah, to every chosen soul listening right now, I ask you to touch their heart with your mercy. Remove the fear that whispers doubt into their mind. Replace it with clarity and deep conviction. O Allah, let them feel the sweetness of your nearness before they feel the weight of their breakthrough. If they are tired, become their strength. If they are grieving, become their comfort. If they are wandering, bring them home to you. Make their path straight, make their heart firm, and make their soul content with what you decree. Let this upcoming shift not just be external change, but internal elevation. Grant them a faith so deep that no storm can uproot it. Grant them a light so strong that no darkness can drown it. And grant them a love for you so powerful that it defines every step they take moving forward. Ameen. Now take a breath. This isn't the end of your story. This is the beginning of your awakening.